Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final weekly. My name is Tom F. Banninger, joined here by my main man, Kret. And we're here for an exciting matchup today, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean it's good to be here.
It's all right.
New band away. I've been thinking I wanna do something like the Tom F. Banninger. Um, so
Kret,
let me.
Unicorn, Kret.
No. I think I'll use my real name. I don't
Okay.
use it enough. Okay.
Kret,
What's the thing with middle names? Do you have a middle name?
I
Like,
do.
can you like throw that in there? Like, is it kosher to throw that in there?
I mean, I also technically have a formation name as well, so I could be Tom George F. Victalicus Banninger.
Ooh, that's good. All right, and then that would make me James Michael Leonard Kret Noah Horgan.
The third.
No, actually, the first.
No, you just got to say the third.
Because I'm from Connecticut? That's
Yep.
racist!
No. You got to add of Connecticut after the fact.
Of Connecticut.
Then it'll work out.
Of the 203. Anyway, bands have finished coming out, so we've got Nua Geb taken off the board by Torch. Kumbha Cabana, great name, will remove Yanis and Athena. Serket first pick, always scary to see.
Yeah, I mean, the Serket's first pick is just pretty much standard. A lot of times people ask me, what are the top tiers of junglers? And you see a lot of Thor, a lot of Thor being questioned, and a lot of Hunbats being questioned or brought up because they just have so much control. And a lot of times you need a lot of different tools like those guys on your team to do their job. Well, Serket's just the opposite, Kret. You just do a lot of damage with this character, and she comes out, and when piloted by a high caliber player, there's almost nothing you can do to really stop the assault.
That's pretty much exactly what Serket does. She just goes in, goes ham, and sometimes kills everybody. Sometimes you use the wrong ability, end up in a horrible position, ult in a late game team fight, and an Artemis just headshots you right off of whoever you're on. Poseidon and Humbat's picked very early. Not bad characters, and I actually think they're quite good together. I don't think they should be picked this early. I mean, Vulcan and Apollo going through, also very strong picks. And Torch looking good right now, but Kumbha Cabana certainly hasn't picked things that don't go together.
Right. Now, the Hunbats pick, I actually respect this early, depending on your opponent, because, as I said before, Hunbats is considered a very high. Hunbats is a high priority jungler. Whether or not he's always picked that way remains to be seen. But Poseidon, I have to agree with you on, Kret. It's just a very odd pick to be picked this early. We do see Poseidon isn't exactly a stranger to the current situation. You always are quick to mention that Poseidon and Kukulkan tend to go in and out based off of each other, and right now Kukulkan is a little less favored, but I still don't think Poseidon is the first pick overall. Take a look at their first picks though: Poseidon, Hunbats, Artemis. I have to guess that there's a lot of comfort picks here, and these players are confident in these choices because they're just not the characters we would expect to see around this first area of picking.
Definitely, I do like the Sylvanas ban, though. I think that's a great ban, especially if you're going to run Artemis as an ADC. Raw ban, just pretty much secures that this is going to be a very low sustained game, if any. You're down to Hells and Aphrodites, and she goes a little bit rare. The Artemis I actually don't hate. I feel like she's pretty good against Serket, because you've got the CC and the stun from the boar, and there's so much damage on the Hunter that there's the ability to actually kill Serket before she kills you.
Okay.
The problem is the Vulcan, because I feel like Vulcan is just going to combo Artemis down when played well. There will be an Aphrodite picked up, though, so there's the sustain and the Chunga, so I guess we are going to get sustain anyway.
Exactly like you mentioned. There's the Aphrodite about to be locked in. There it is. It's going to go ahead and get locked in, and that's going to be an interesting team comp. Now, Aphrodite is a through and through a solo later. Occasionally, most notably at the launch tournament piloted by ShadowQ, we did see Aphrodite play in the support role. A number of things sort of stop that from being the best choice overall, as we see Torch sort of think about their Guardian with Sylvanas and Geb. Kumbha Cabana, again, great name. If they go with this Aphrodite support, where do you think, what's one of the caveats of Aphrodite support?
Aphrodite support's advantage is pretty much the most important thing about running it. Like, when you pick it, you're picking it for what it's good for, and that's really Madden-y, but hold on. She pushes very well, and she has
Right.
enough sustain to guarantee that you win any even trade, or even a bad trade you sometimes win, because you sustain up both players very quickly, and she has a lot of poke damage. She's very good at creating a kill lane. The problem is she's also very weak against kill lanes. Because if you have, I mean, just for a throwback, when Aphrodite support was actually played, Guan Yu was incredible against her. Thor,
Right.
incredible against her. Because you just get on her and you're like, you can't do anything. You can't knock me back. Sure, you can stun, but you just need to apply pressure to the Aphrodite, which is why she's often better off in solo. After Chang'e, has been a lane matchup that's been around for a long time. At this point, I feel like it's a matchup that both sides can win, and both sides just need to
Agreed.
play their advantages. So Chang'e beats Aphrodite if you play the poking game, if you're aggressive, if you apply the pressure. But Aphrodite, if she plays a little bit more passive, focuses on clearing, plays back and itemizes well, if you stalemate, you win.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the beauties of the game that we have right here. Chang'e has some sort of an advantage against Aphrodite if you look at it on paper because of that healing reduction. But at the end of the day, Aphrodite just has so much clear and the ability to stay safe that it won't really matter in the long run. It's up to the individual players and pilots. And to the reason that you were talking about Aphrodite being easy to poke out by an aggressive comp in lane. We see the Ymir pick on the side of the blue team. So going over the other side, we do see Bacchus being picked up by Kumbha Cabana. Just whether or not their thought process was to put Aphrodite in the support role originally, the Ymir choice definitely deterred them, and they're going to pick up the Bacchus for that. So they'll have Bacchus, Artemis in lane against Apollo and Ymir. Should we just, this is a very old standard lane. A lot of things to discuss, and we'll get into it as we get into the game. Your first matchup, ladies and gentlemen, Torch Gaming versus Kumbha Cabana, and you'll see it soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for the first matchup of the day. Torch coming out of the pristine side, while Kumbha Cabana representing the red team. We've got Vulture on that Volk, probably going to wind up in the middle lane, while Bullet on Chang'e winds in the solo lane. One glance and Duffo will make up the long lane, otherwise known as the headshot in all caps. Will lurk in the jungle on Circuit.
On the other side is Kumbha Cabana. Their support, Voodoo Duffman, playing Bacchus and laning with an Artemis, Pogue Mahone 116. In the jungle, it's Lieutenant Snugglekins. I love this name. This is the best day. Ninja Hannah in the solo lane on Aphrodite. In the middle lane, Sknu on Poseidon. This team has a great team name and some great player names. I hope they go far. I want to see them in finals.
This is a well-named team for sure. Kumbha Cabana, and they're actually being chased by a lonely Bacchus. 4 members of going to catch out. Sknu taking a lot of damage, down 10% HP. They're so beautiful, knocking shit off, and the dive by Bullet is not worth it. Get a lot of poke, and that all in all is going to be a even trade because of the tower dive by Bullet. Both members go back, but with 15 seconds left before minions spawn, I think that they'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be a little bit late, and this is actually going to favor Kumbha Cabana, as only one player will arrive late, whereas 2 from Torch will be a little bit late to their location. So Chang'e might not actually be able to get any experience off of this mid camp, which would be unfortunate. And Bacchus also unfortunately disconnecting, so not going to be able to help Artemis with the blue. Things just seem to be going wrong for everyone in the first 30 seconds of this match.
Yeah, these early starts are definitely very, very important. So we're going to have to see how the match goes on and whether or not that Bacchus DC will matter, or if Kumbha Cabana is going to go ahead and take a pause here. We'll have to, that remains to be seen, because I mean, at the end of the day, getting some extra farm on your hunter isn't so terrible if Bacchus is getting into the game right now, but if it's going to be an extended situation, you kind of want to get that done now.
Yeah, I mean, Artemis really wants this blue buff and has traded off 400 health to get it, including a health potion. That's going to be pretty bad news going into laning phase, especially against Ymir Apollo, where if you get ahead, they can just zone you off. In the solo lane, in the solo duo rather, as there are 2 players here from each team, it seems to be trading fairly equally, but you always got to be careful of Circuit. Headshot being level 3 can definitely do a lot of damage if he engages and gets the perfect deathbane.
Headshot already heading out of the solo lane, going towards middle lane, wants to be a little more aggressive than his counterpart Hun Bats. Coming behind Sknu, looking for something. Meatball will hit, but no follow-up from headshot, and that's going to prevent any real aggression going on at this 1.5 minute mark. So they're just probably going to farm up. Here comes Lieutenant Snuggles, so they're going to have to back off and head off to the left side of the jungle, most likely getting that speed.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I believe you mean Lieutenant Snugglekins.
My mistake. I have gotten the monkey's name incorrect.
So there's the pause coming out. Just gonna allow Voodoo Duffman to reconnect. So let's talk a little bit about Serket jungle. It's incredibly powerful, but we don't see it that often because it's banned so much. So Serket's early clear, not actually that great. She's fast or fast enough, but it's not. She's not one of the fastest junglers. Not on the level of a Naja or a Fenrir, where they just have so much ability damage that they can't die. Or even Odin once he gets his bird bomb online. It's really about fact that she just sort of never stops scaling.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't. It's not a situation where you need a lot of physical power. You will never ever see a Heartseeker built on Serket because the way she deals her damage is majority percent based damage. Her passive allows her to take 10-20% chunks off of life bars just by itself without any additional physical power. So it scales almost like you said, it just doesn't stop scaling because people's health pools just get larger and larger throughout the game.
The important thing to mention is that passive, that Catalyst, is actually tricky. You can screw it up. And not in the same way that you can mess up a Vulcan passive by not using it, but the way it works is your 3 abilities apply poisons. Your Deathbane, your Cobra's Kiss, and your Last Breath all apply a poison that lingers on the target for 20 seconds. When you auto-attack, it removes those poisons. If you remove 3 of them, you take off 20% of their maximum health as physical damage, not true damage, important to note. If you take off 2, it's 10% of their maximum health. If you take off 1, nothing happens. So it's very important not to auto attack until you've used 2 abilities, because if you do 1 ability, auto attack another ability, you're losing damage, which is such a weird mechanic, especially for a lot of the pro players. They had to learn that.
Exactly, and that's when we talk about, because this is a sort of an overused cliche when we talk about Serket, is that how at a high level of play she becomes a very, very effective, and that's really what we're talking about, because 9 times out of 10, in order to get the most damage possible, you want to be weaving basic attacks in after all of your abilities, especially if you're a Hun Bats player, or by a Hydra's Lament. That's just sort of what you're literally supposed to do. So Serket comes out, and she forces you to completely untrain everything you've learned about getting additional damage only when playing her. And it's is it difficult mechanically? Sure, it's not the easiest thing. Her abilities are difficult, but it's difficult mentally to really untrain yourself from the quote-unquote correct way to play when you pick up a Serket.
The only other thing I want to mention about Serket that I mean, she's a hard character in general. Like, Deathbane's just weird, and you need to know that. You need to know how it's gonna work before you pull up the targeter. But her ultimate is one of the harder abilities to use for 2 reasons. It's such a quick knockback that often it can have someone disjoint through a mage ultimate. So like a Spirit of the Nine Winds from Kukulkan will sometimes not hit when a person is moving from the kick from the last breath. And then the other thing is, you're standing still on someone's head. If you want to throw back to old Arachne before her rework, we know how that goes. You're standing still on someone's head and you get killed for it because you're not moving in a late game team fight, and Artemis crits for 1,000. So it's very hard to use, and it really does make Serket a little bit more of an assassin. She's very good at picks, very mobile, but if you use your abilities wrong, you just kind of die.
Yeah, and Serket is definitely hard to wrap your head around, just like this pause is a little tough to wrap our head around. So we're going to go to a brief break and take a look to see if we could knock out any of the kinks, and we'll get back into your first game very soon. Stay tuned for more Smite action. If you're just joining us, we originally lost Voodoo Duff Bacchus for Kumbha Cabana, but everything is back, taking a look at the charts real quick. It seems to be a close game, but 1,800 experience can start to snowball. So we'll see if Torch can really pick it up, or if that DC, or if Kumbha Cabana is going to be put back by that DC.
Yeah, I mean, that experience lead is basically in the support role, right? That's pretty much the advantage that's out for Torch right now. And One Glance is going to be able to take advantage of that. He's quite a proficient ADC player, and so he's just sort of going to know how he can and how he cannot push his advantage. And right now, it's just by him soloing lane. Artemis has returned to base, so One Glance just picking up solo experience before the 3-minute mark is a big advantage for that ADC. And the thing about Apollo, the moment he gets so far ahead that you can't trade with him, he is the best hunter in the game.
Yeah, the audacity that his passive allows him to attack 50% faster is actually really, really potent once those basic attacks start to come online.
Oh yeah.
Devo Glow's finished is almost good enough, but obviously the second he touches Rage, you just really can't do anything about it. So that's going to be kind of frightening. And already level 5 to level 4 and 2 on Artemis and Bacchus respectively, he's already taking an aggressive stance in the lane, able to tank the front minions while basic attacking them down, and he's already asserted his dominance on this lane.
I mean, let's be honest, he has the best global presence, and if he's beating you in lane 2, there's nowhere you can go that Apollo will not be able to get there and be better than you. So, very, very scary if he gets far ahead, and that means we're gonna need to see Gangsta the Toonbots, who is level 5, but his ultimate only just coming online, hasn't been able to use it yet. Left Gold Camp has gone down to Torch, and now Headshot and Defoe heading into the middle lane. Probably not going to be able to get too much. They don't have a blink on their Ymir yet, but that's probably something they're going to want soon, is Ymir Serket gank's very strong.
Ymir Serket can be extremely strong, whether it's madness into an ultimate from Ymir or a freeze into a great deathbane coming out from the Serket. There's a lot of different ways you can hang that. And right on the left side, we're seeing some aggression from Kumbha Cabana, but here comes Defoe trying to help out his Apollo. 6-6 on them, 6-3 on the opponent. So Bacchus really has to play this carefully, because One Glance, as we talked about with Apollo, already very strong and doesn't even have the item finished yet.
Oh, in the solo lane though, Serket with the last breath onto Aphrodite. She's not going to be able to heal Madness. Deathbane gets the kill. Headshot 1-0. First blood, level 7. What more could you ask for?
Delivery.
Well, you can ask for a blue buff on the invade right there, and it looks like 2 members deep are going to go ahead and pick up this blue buff. Only one there is Lieutenant Snugglekins, and he's just not able to provide enough resistance. Level 5 on his speed buff. You know, if Torch wanted to be aggressive here, they really could just take it with Poseidon coming in the back, coming up the middle lane. So a little restraint shown there by the members of Team Torch, not invading on that speed buff as well, because that would have been a dead monkey, Kret.
Yeah, I mean, Serket was out of mana, which is a bit of a downside, and so maybe Headshot... I mean, usually your jungler is the one calling jungle invades, so maybe he just didn't think about it because he didn't have the mana. But it definitely was an option if they got the rotation from the middle lane. Support onto Snugglekins, maxing that Frost Strike. You can see the effect of it as Poseidon's taking damage as well. Good Kraken onto Vulture, and he's going to maybe take a tower hit. No, great backfire just to get him out of danger, and no one dies in that explosive engagement.
Beautiful Aegis right there coming out of Skinu. The Poseidon just barely able to activate it before the Vulcan hit. I mean, that's not a rank 3 active. That's
Skinu. Oh, Skinu!
And Vulture gets the double kill right there. No Aegis available to him right there, as it's a level 1 Aegis with a 150-second cooldown. So Vulcan picks up the double in the middle lane, while Sniper falls down to the wayside in the solo lane. So that's going to be a 3-person kill all aboard, and Torch leading the game 4-0.
Yeah, Torch has a big advantage, 5-0, as One Glance is able to take down Pogue Mahone on the way back into lane. So, Chunga Aphrodite, we mentioned it in picks and bans, and that it's essentially an even match because there's so many different advantages and there's so much intricacy. But when the jungler comes and gets that first blood in the solo lane, it's no longer an even match. Actually, the duo lane, Voodoo Duffman going down to One Glance, just picking up an easy, I guess, prolonged double. But, yeah, now that Chunga has the advantage, she should just be able to press it and win the lane.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what we're going to see, Chunga, because we were talking about the matchup and how intricate it is, and that's all assuming that it's evenly matched as far as experience is concerned, as another kill goes down in the middle lane to the Vulcan. But again, that solo lane being ran by Chang'e. Tower almost already down, and One Glance also running this duo lane. Level 7 to level 10 are the Hunters, and One Glance has just been trading blows with this Artemis the entire time, really not able to have any pressure against him. So Pokemon just not able to do much against this level 10 Apollo with Devo Gloves already built and Audacity ready to go.
Your left tower is under
Yeah, in the duo lane, there's just so much pressure on that Artemis. Aphrodite going down again, and at this point, now that Bullet's level 11 up against a level 8 Aphrodite has that Divine Ruin online, often Divine Ruin start doesn't do enough, but when you're this far ahead, it certainly does. There is no sustain option for this Aphrodite. In the left-hand jungle, Poseidon getting zoned out by Vulture. Torch is pushing their advantage, and they're pushing it perfectly.
Here comes a Vulcan ult onto the left-hand side. Beautiful belly flop out of Bacchus is going to prevent it. Good stun coming out from Defoe. Ultimate in the backline. That's going to take out Vulture. Bit off a little bit more than he can chew. Two members in blue. Not enough damage to take out Pogue Mahone. He's going to escape by the skin of his teeth. But wait. One glance in the air, looking for the kill in the back line. Lands in the back, gets the kill, but now he's surrounded. Good Mez looking for the kill onto Bacchus as well. Minion's going to go ahead and block that out. Ultimate coming down from the Monkey. Fear No Evil will spread the team out, but One Glance and Headshot are here, ready to fight. They're going to turn around. He was stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Going to find himself under his own tower. And here comes the rest of Torch. Stuff back up. They should be able to get problem. No big deal.
You know, Zapman may no longer be the hunter for Dignitas, but his spirit lives on with that dive, and Torch actually did a great job of coming to help him out. Now, Headshot going down there, actually dying to only a tower. He did tower dive to get the kill on Poseidon, wasn't able to get out safely. Vulture going down in a more legitimate fashion, actually giving Kumbha Cabana a kill, but 11-1 and up 7,000 gold, 13,000 experience. Torch, the moment they start taking tier 2 towers, they should just be able to keep that pressure going all the way to the throne.
Yeah, I mean, we always make the joke about the Zapman dive or the Apollo or the Apollo going too crazy, but I think this situation, and it's intricate, so bear with me as mid camps go down on the right side. This is only the second spawn past the original that are going to go the way of Torch. Pause that thought real quick. Diving very deep in the enemy jungle. Ninja Hannah very low. Defoe chasing. Great wall. Great freeze. Is there any follow-up? Bullet gets the kill with the ultimate. And Defoe blows his to kill out Lieutenant Snugglekins. 2-0 in the jungle. 13-1 is the total count.
The important thing about the way Defoe is building Ymir, maxing Glacial Strike first, you don't need anyone else to follow up. You can follow up yourself. He's actually delaying taking levels of his ultimate because it does enough base damage at rank 1, and maxing his sneeze second. Nice Vulcan ult in the center lane, gonna pick up one kill. The second kill soon to come down. Headshot taking that with an auto attack. Now 16-1. And it looks like Kumbha just were not able to come back from that early disadvantage. First Gold Fury of the game will be started and will go down to Torch.
I like what I'm seeing at Vulture, this Vulcan mid lane from Torch. One of the things that a lot of players get blinded by when it comes to Vulcan is they see that text on the tooltip saying it does extra damage the further you're away. You don't have to be blinded by that. A lot of these Vulcans ultimates have been more effective than the majority of ultimates we see out of Vulcans in tournament play. And they're mid to close range, Kret. You're ensuring the damage rather than gambling on higher damage, and that's what's getting the kills. Those 2 kills in the middle lane, mid-range Vulcan ult, sometimes that's all you need.
Exactly, but Bullet pushing up on the right-hand side, keeping up the pressure on Ninja Hannah. Now a 6-level difference between those two players, and no, Bullet no longer keeping up the pressure as he starts a recall. One glance on the left-hand side, though, should be able to get this tower, as alone Bacchus is not enough to defend against an Apollo.
Right, and here's sort of what I was getting to is we see Apollo actually going to retreat because there's 2 other members, so that makes it 3. He's going to have to be careful right here. When you're this far ahead, you sort of allow your hunter to really be that crazy, aggressive individual because he can put out that much damage. One glance being gressed on by 3 people, but he's level 14. He doesn't quite mind. Ultimate from Defoe is going to take out the enemy hunter. Only level 9. 3 members deep are both teams. Voodoo Duffman taking a lot of damage. That initial DC hurting him, and Wonderland's going to go ahead and pick up his 4th kill of the game. 4-0-3, reach the slash line of the blue team's Hunter.
Well, it's also very important to mention that Apollo is the escape artist. He is the slipperiest hunter in the game. There are a few characters slipperier, like debatable. I mean, even then it's debatable, right? Like Serket has 2 dashes, and that's great. But Apollo has a global ult where he could just fly away. So, you know, maybe Yanis. Anyway, 2 inner towers left. Up, Bullet on the right hand side did just get a kill, and Chinga not the best tower killer, a pretty good split pusher, but we'll be able to get this one eventually, I think, as Headshot is rotating over to help, and Vulture and Defoe just keeping everyone else under that middle tower. Torch is just squeezing the life out of Kumbha Cabana.
I mean, the teamwork around here is really impressive from Torch as Vulture picks up another mid-range Vulcan ultimate kill. You know, the Torch is a team that we've seen around. They do come and they do have a fluctuating roster, so I will say that. But Torch has been around the tournament scene for a while, Craig. Can you remember the first time we really saw them in tournament play like this?
In tournament play, it's been forever. I mean, it's been all year. And their roster has changed. This roster is recent-ish. But I'd say the first real noteworthy appearance of Torch was in the SPL play-in, where they were one of the 4 teams. Oh, middle tower, nice play from Vulture to get that first kill. With the Ymir ult, it's going to slow everyone down. The dive from Bullet, missing the ultimate. Oh no, and Vulture backfiring into the center of a Kraken. Mechanical mistakes, but not enough to actually drop any lives. This Torch is just too far ahead.
Yeah, just a little too much for Kumbha Cabana to handle. But one of the things that I wanted to bring up about Torch is that this team looks very good, and they're definitely very good, but they're practiced. That's really what I want to mention. We see Torch come out and they play against some of the bigger dogs, the Cognitives, the Dignitases, etc. And they do well. They might not always win, but here is the result: playing and losing to those teams. Just incredible refinement on the basics when it comes to farming and trying to win a game. And 14 minutes in, 800 damage on that ult. 14 minutes in, we see a 20,000 gold 5-1. That is practice. So if you're a team, if you're a newer team out there, take a look at what Torch is doing and how they've done it. This could be you.
Yeah, Torch is just applying pressure perfectly. It's going to be a waxy moon to find a kill on the Pogue Mahone. The Titan has been pulled, and I don't think they're going to go for it yet. Oh, they're going to go for it yet. 2 Phoenixes are definitely killable right now, but they want to take it all, and they're just going to end up resetting it repeatedly. There we go. This is the real attempt. Defoe coming in. He's tanking the Titan. It's only a Bacchus and a Poseidon who is going to be attempted to kill. Titan at 50%, but Headshot's getting low. Will not quite die. Voodoo Duffman very low as well and will be forced back into the fountain as Torch is going to re-engage.
Yeah, this might be Shangda's gonna help. She's level 18. Pogue Mahone gets a kill. That's the 2nd kill on the side of the red team, so that's gonna be a good one as Vulcan falls down. Defoe looks like he wants to turn around, get a freeze, and get a deicide. 1 member 5. Pogue Mahone can't do much. Running into the wall. The level of Artemis sporting nothing but 7 deaths and 35 stacks on those demons. Not able to stop this final push. Couple of knockups and CCs. That's going to be the death. That's going to be the deicide. And that's going to be the game. 16 minutes, 33 kills to 3 with over 20,000 gold in the lead for Team Torch. They start this tournament off with a bang, and the blue team takes this one in spades.
Wow. I mean, yeah, Torch just really dominating that game from the first minute to the last, and we actually have a pretty good match for you next. It's going to be our 2nd round, so a little bit early for a match of such high caliber, but Apex Predator versus 500 Men is a match that we have seen a lot in the Challenger Cup, which is a bit of a throwback by now, but Apex Predator actually beat 500 Men a few times. They were one of the big barriers stopping 500 Men from getting as many points as they wanted, but
yeah, I mean, everybody tends to think about all the hoopla regarding of rose-colored glasses, but in the actuality of it, they had a lot of problems in the Challenger Cup. A lot of good teams, Apex Predator being one of them. They've beaten 5 a.m. without a DQ before. They've done it before. They've done it in the past, and this roster looks pretty similar to that one. So it's not going to be cut and dry. The best is on this team. They're going to win. This next one's going to be exciting. I don't think we're going to see a 20,000 gold deficit in this one. So stay tuned if you want to see a great match. We're going to bring that to you in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you soon.